During a surgery while hospitalized, Kimberly Clark Sharp was well aware of all her senses, and she can hear the medical staff around her. She didn't know what she was experiencing at the time, but soon let go from her burdens of the physical realm and had a near-death experience that changed her forever. This is the story of her journey to the other side.
What I do remember is what we now call a near-death experience. I first recall hearing a woman's voice to my left saying, "I'm not getting a pulse, I'm not getting a pulse." She was very agitated. And calmly, I thought, I turned to her and said, "Of course you're getting a pulse, otherwise we wouldn't be speaking." But she ignored me, and I kept trying to assure her, and it became more and more confused because I felt like my communication was absolutely normal, but it wasn't. Because she was ignoring me, I finally thought, well, I'll ignore her. And that decision about letting go was key. I just simply thought, I'm out of here. And then I found myself in a different place. I was surrounded by foggy material. I was warm, which was lovely. So I'm having all these reactions, you know. I had a thought process. I had emotional reactions to things. I remember being relieved at feeling warm. I remember feeling like I was waiting for an airplane or a bus or something that was coming on schedule, for which I had a ticket. No stress, no anxiety, complete calm and assurance, and an awareness that, by golly, I'd never felt this good, ever. It was a correct experience. And before I could figure out who else I was with, because I did not feel alone, I just couldn't see anyone else, I also started goofing around with my vision. So I had sight, even though I didn't have eyeballs. This foggy material was made of glints of unimaginably bright light, and then other mixed in there like little bottomless pits, for lack of a better word, but depth of darkness. So it wasn't like white and black. It was light and dark, but altogether it made up gray. Then a light kind of exploded underneath me with an energy that would be like an explosion, but without the pain or noise. I don't know how to, this is where I do fall down on language. This light was under me. It exploded in all directions. I could turn my lack of a head, but nonetheless, but felt like a head, and perceive this light going out endlessly in all directions. And yet at the same time, it was layering back on itself endlessly, and I had the knowledge that I was beholding eternity through this light, and that the spreading out of the light was linear, but the layering was dimensions, and that there was no time as we measure it on earth. This was endlessness. This was utter eternity, not only in how we mark time, but in dimensions. It just goes on and on and on. But none of that really mattered. What mattered to me was the love that I felt from this light. It was immense. If I had been in flesh, I would have exploded. So because this love just penetrated everything about me. It was personal. It was intense, but fantastic, and communicated with me in a way that was also perfect, but it wasn't English. It was, upon reflection later, a combination of like math and music. Again, what we call ineffable. There's just no words in any language that would be as good as the communication between us. And I got to ask questions that, later I thought were pretty profound, like, what's the meaning of life? Why are we born? The answers came back very simply. The meaning to life was to learn. Why are we born? It was love, that this life is school. And it wasn't like I was learning, though. It was like I was remembering. It was everything at once, everything I might have been in any past. And I don't mean like reincarnation in that sense. It's just that here we go. So my soul was eternal, and I was with eternal peace with something that had created me, that was taking the form of a light. It's what I call God, even that is lame. There's nothing to call this thing that we call God. We all bang on the door to be born into this life, that it is an experience we eagerly seek out. It's like there's something within our souls that has to have this earthly experience. And I don't know beyond that, other than what I was told, speaking in metaphor now, but that we banged on the door of life. And what I don't understand is why, some people suffer. But apparently that is part of the school as well. It did help me to become a social worker, because I really want to help people who are suffering, and I'm deeply committed to it. I was witnessing everything. There was no beginning and end. It was always. It was beyond creation. But this was my creator, what eternity means. But it's very important that I know about creation, though, because this was like a big bang. And I could observe this light going everywhere, and it was like an explosion under me and an immediate immersion. There was like nothing in all of existence but this light and myself. But even the light, I think, was a representation of God, a concept that even near death I wasn't ready to experience. I don't know why I think that, I just do. I think calling the light God would be like looking up at my ceiling at, the lights and going, oh, that's the light, but that would discount everything that brought that light into where I'm sitting right now. The wires in our home, the wires underground, the rain that falls in the Cascade Mountains that provides the water supply for Seattle's electricity. I mean, it's complicated, and so is God, and yet so very simple, because it's about love. End of story. Everything is about love. It sounds so hippy-dippy, but that is it.
That's it for today's video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, as that helps us get more of these stories out in this format for more interested viewers. To watch this interview in its entirety, visit the link in the description. Let us know what you think of today's video in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.
My soul was eternal, and I was with eternal peace with something that had created me. We all bang on the door to be born into this life, that it is an experience we eagerly seek out. It's like there's something within our souls that has to have this earthly experience.